Hello, you curious minds. Today on Interesting Minute, we're going to be talking about cell phone radiation, how it's measured, and what to know about the numbers. So what is the specific absorption rate, or SAR? The FCC, the government body in charge of measuring SAR, defines it as a measure of the rate of radio frequency energy absorption by the body from the source being measured. When measuring the SAR due to cell phones, the phone is placed against a representation of the human head, called a SAR phantom, in a talking position. The SAR value is then measured at the location that has the highest absorption rate in the entire head, which in the case of a mobile phone is often as close to the phone's antenna as possible. Measurements are made for different positions on both sides of the head and at different frequencies representing the frequency bands at which the device can transmit. Depending on the size and capabilities of the phone, additional testing may also be required to represent usage of the device while placed close to the user's body and/or extremities. During the SAR testing, scientists use standardized models of the human head and body that are filled with liquids that simulate the RF absorption characteristics of human tissues. In order to determine compliance, each cell phone is tested while operating at its highest power level in all the frequency bands in which it operates, and in very specific positions against the dummy head and body to simulate the ways different users typically hold a cell phone, including to each side of the head. To test cell phones for SAR compliance, the phone is precisely placed in various common positions next to the head and body, and a robotic probe takes a series of measurements of the electric field at specific pinpoint locations in a very precise grid-like pattern within the dummy head and torso. All data for each phone placement are submitted as part of the equipment approval test report for final authorization. However, only the highest SAR values for each frequency band are included in the final authorization to demonstrate compliance within the FCC's RF guidelines. With all that being said, be cautious with these results. The SAR values used for the FCC approval process do not account for the multitude of other tests taken during this time. Moreover, cell phones constantly vary their power to operate at the minimum power necessary for communications, and operations at maximum power occur very infrequently. Consequently, cell phones cannot be reliably compared for their overall exposure characteristics on the basis of a single SAR value for several reasons. Take the hypothetical example between two cell phones. Cell phone A might have one measurement that was higher than any single measurement for cell phone B. Cell phone A would therefore have a higher reported SAR value than cell phone B, even if cell phone B had a higher measurements than A in most other locations or configurations. In such a case, a user generally would receive more RF energy overall from cell phone B. Cell phone A might communicate more efficiently than cell phone B, so that it operates at lower power than cell phone B under comparable conditions. Consequently, a user would receive more energy overall from cell phone B. The highest value from cell phone A might come from a position where the user seldom or never employs to hold the phone, whereas the user might usually hold a phone in the position that resulted in the highest value for cell phone B. Therefore, the user would receive the highest RF exposure that cell phone B delivers, but would never receive the highest RF exposure from cell phone A. With all that being said, what are the FCC limits for specific absorption rates? The FCC requires that phones sold within the US have an SAR level at or below 1.6 watts per kilogram, taken over the volume containing a mass of 1 gram of tissue that is absorbing the most signal. If you liked the video, please click the like button. If you'd like to see more videos like this, consider subscribing to the channel.